I got 5 tips that could make or break your first or next studio session. What's up? My name's Manifest. I have over 500,000 monthly Spotify listeners. I've toured over 22 countries and I coach artists just like you. And I want to help you turn that anxiety maybe that you have about going to your first studio session or your next studio session and turn it into anticipation so that you can be excited for it, so that you can crush it and enjoy this journey. Because I know writing my first songs, I was excited, but I was also nervous. I wanted to get to that point where I could just, crush it on the mic and have that confidence. And let me tell you, practice is what helps you get better. I can hear the confidence in someone's voice in the studio. And so that's why the very first tip I have for you is to rehearse. All right, to rehearse that verse, that chorus, have multiple melodies, really know the song that you're going to be working on, but at the same time, don't memorize it to the point where it's so stuck in your head like muscle memory, because if you do end up rewriting it with the producer, that you're not reverting to the old version that you wrote originally, the old melody. And that's happened to me where I wrote it a certain way and I had practiced it, but then we changed it, but then when I got in the vocal booth, I kept on singing the old version. So you don't want to memorize it to the point where it's just like in stone in your mind, or that's going to really mess you up. But you want to come to the studio with some different ideas. Like have a couple different versions of the verse, different lyrics, different melodies, different chorus options, so you can try stuff, because some stuff might not work for the verse or the chorus, but makes it a great bridge, or that verse idea that you had might be a better chorus. So you want to just make sure you're always trying stuff and bring a lot of stuff. So many producers have said to me, Chris, I love it the fact that you send demos and ideas ahead of time, as opposed to just starting from scratch right when we get to the studio session. So it's having those ideas and different things you can bounce off of, as opposed to trying to bring up all the new creativity right away, all right? So the second thing that I want you to have is make sure you show up on time. Okay, I know it sounds so simple, but show up on time, be professional, don't be late, all right? Because everyone's time is precious, man. That's people's most valuable asset. And when you don't respect someone's time and you're late and you don't even call or email or let them know, you just show up late and just assume like everything's cool. I know some really big songwriters that got really ticked off because they had writing sessions booked with somebody and they just didn't show up, and their security called or whatever it was. They're like, yeah, sorry, he's just not going to come. And the dude was ticked. So you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to burn relationships, all right? Number 3, the thing that I like to do is make sure you get good night's sleep. Okay, the night before, you want to make sure your vocals are good. You want to make sure you got a good night's sleep. You want to make sure you're hydrated. You drank a lot of water, because you might be doing a lot of takes. And the very first thing that gets strained is your vocal cords. Yeah, the first thing that your body gets affected when you're not hydrated is your vocal cords. All right, so that's why it's so important to have those lubricated and be hydrated with water. Okay, so drink a lot of water. 4th thing I like to do is I like to make sure I'm bringing snacks. And personally, when it comes to drinks and stuff like that, I always make sure I get my favorite drink, which happens to be a London Fog. I always like to bring a nice drink, like a tea latte is my favorite thing. Maybe there's a certain coffee or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I just like to do that. I always do that for music video shoots as well too, but I like to have a nice drink. I like to have my snacks and stuff, because I don't know how long the studio is going to go. So sometimes I'll bring some dark chocolate, or I'll bring some nuts and different things so that I can just snack on and have in the studio, because I don't know if the person is eating or what their schedule is. The last time I wrote with the dude, we ended up just ordering some subs in and some food, and it was great. I don't normally eat a lot of bread and stuff like that, but it was actually really good. I had like some steak and cheese sub. But anyways, you want to make sure that you've got stuff just in case, because you don't want to be hungry. You want to make sure you've got everything you need, your nourishment, so you can just focus and just crush that studio session. So important. And the last thing I'll say, number 5 here, is make sure you pay on time. Okay, make sure you pay this person, treat them well. Obviously depending on the relationship, and I know there's sometimes sketchy people out there, but obviously you want to make sure you get your tracks and everything like that. But I'm talking about the people that really knock it out the park for you. They do a really good job and they invoice you. Pay it up right away. Get that in writing. Be clear about the money and just deal with it, and don't put it off. Because I'll never forget when I started paying this big producer dude that I worked with, that I'll leave nameless. He always said that, Chris, like, man, you always pay on time, and I appreciate that. And I believe that's what kept the door open, because eventually he only worked with, major label artists, and I was one of the only indie artists that he still works with. And I believe it's because, number one, I was always professional. I always showed up on time, always had songs, was always ready, and I always paid on time. I was professional, man. I dealt with things. Same thing with registering the songs and the publishing and all that stuff. Like, I was a professional, I was a pro, and that left the door open. And you know what also? They go the extra mile for you on stuff. I'll never forget this dude just like one time like did all these mixes for me for free and just said Merry Christmas, because they were already a part of the project in one day at one point, so they just wanted to give even more. So be a pro, show up on time, and go crush your next studio session. Hey music artist, it looks like you haven't downloaded a copy of my book Spotify Profits yet, showing you how I got 12.2 million streams and 100,000 followers on Spotify without a record label and without having to go on tour anymore. This thing reads like a magazine. It's going to show you how to hack that Spotify algorithm, how to release your songs in order so that you get the best chance of getting on those editorial playlists, how I collaborate with other artists, but most importantly, how to build that email list so that you can monetize your music. This will work for any genre, works wherever you live, does not matter. We live in a global singles economy, and now is your time to grow your Spotify following. Click the link in this video to download a copy today.